Hi and welcome to Polly Puts the Colour On. In this video I'm going to be sharing a chatty flip through of this adorable colouring book, Cats in Clothes, a colouring book for cat lovers. As you can see at the minute I have still got the price tag on. I might try and peel it off at some point, but I know I never normally have much look at peeling the price off, and I sometimes think it just looks neater leaving it on rather than having it kind of, with the weird glue left behind. So I did pick this up from a shop called The Works here in the UK. If you're from the UK, you can know where I mean. I've had a look and I don't think it is available to purchase anywhere else. So I will include a link in the description, but it won't be an affiliate link or anything. It is just literally a link to where you can see it on the Works website. But if you do have one, a workshop near you, they may well have it in store. So you can see the RRP is £9.99, but it was only £5, which is one reason why I picked it up, because it is relatively chunky. It is about A4 size, so it is quite a big book. And I was careful to have a look while we were in the store to double check that it is done by an actual artist and not by AI. And as you can see in the information here, it has got information of who it's illustrated by Martin Beckett. And it says that, all of the artwork was done by human, nothing to do with AI, which I find very reassuring. So you can see that there is a little motif there that you can colour. Obviously, there's a little bit here. It isn't single-sided, but it feels like relatively decent paper. It's not super thin. It's not the thickest, but it isn't super thin. It's definitely slightly thicker than like an Amazon print book, I'd say. So I'm hoping pencils will work quite nicely. I don't know whether, watercolour or Inktense or something would work okay, but I'll have an experiment. But there are some pages in here like this I really love. But there's other pages that I think actually I'm not too keen on, and quite a lot of the pages, they are kind of double page spreads, but one page doesn't necessarily have the cat on. So here you can see there's a cat, it's got a bit of their paw, but then the rest is just kind of the background pattern. Same here, the cat's basically all on here apart from the tiny little bit of their cloak there. And then obviously that's the design. So you could use alcohol markers if you're willing to sacrifice the other side. I might do, but I might try and just use, mediums that I know won't bleed through. But I couldn't resist this book. I love cats. You've only got to look at my channel to kind of see that from, my logo and things. Obviously got a cat on. My membership channels, the memberships on my channel, the different names of the different levels, Figaro, Monty, Luna and Amiga tier are all names of our current cats, and the Amiga tier, the top tier, is our cat that's no longer, is sadly no longer with us. But they just make me smile. They're just so funny, dressed up in their outfits. And some of them, when I was flicking through in the shop, I looked and I was like, oh, that really reminds me of Monty or Luna. So certain ones I will probably colour them in kind of, the colours that my cats are. But yeah, they just look so funny, don't they? Cats dressed up in clothes. So there's a really nice mix of kind of, obviously this one's like a wintry one where they're Santa. This one's a fun one with obviously all the wool there. So if you're not confident at doing fur, it's not necessarily too much of a problem in this book, because obviously they're wearing clothes. There's not actually that much fur to colour. Not too sure as I do that one. That one just doesn't really strike my fancy. But then this one, just the expression on the face just really makes me chuckle. Kind of not, it doesn't exactly remind me of Camilla Derrico's style, but there's just something about some of the expressions on some of the cats in this. It just kind of gives me the vibes of her work. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I see that one, I love the glasses. Looks very cool, doesn't he? Great for mermaid next year. The cat is a mermaid, a little bit different there. A big dress. Obviously that was like a baker. So like I say, there is kind of double page, but you could just, you could colour, say, that cat with alcohol markers and sacrifice the one on the back, depending on what's on the reverse. It might be something that you're not too bothered about colouring. So that one we can see is from the front cover. So you could take inspiration for colours from there. But yeah, it's just a lot of different, you know, more modern outfits and then older outfits. I say there is kind of the wallpapery bits, which depending on the pattern, like the one, say here with the leaves, I could see me actually colouring the leaves in. Whereas here, there's a lot going on with that background, isn't there? It might be, say, if I colour this one, that I just use a bit of chalk pastel or distress ink or something, just add a little bit of colour to the background without actually colouring all the details in. I think it just kind of depends. Like that one wouldn't be too bad to colour in. You'd even use a gel pen, couldn't you? Just not look impressed. That's it. It's the expressions on the cats for this book that just gets me. That's a sweet one there, taking their pictures. Very pretty. Kind of Kanoko Igusa kind of vibes as well there. So I'm sure there's a cat, no, a rabbit, I think, dressed like that with blossoms. I can't think which of her books it is, but I'm sure it's a rabbit dressed up very similar. Looking very regal there. So yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of pages. So for £5, I was really pleased with. I say the paper feels, it's not super thick, but like I say, it isn't super thin. And there is a lot of different poses, and like a lot of them, they are just facing the front, but obviously one here where they're more turned to the side. So as much as I've said I might not colour the backgrounds on some of them, this one I think would be really fun to take some of the colours from the outfit and maybe use them in the background. So that could be fun. So it might be nice to find somewhere to experiment in the book to see what does work nicely to help me. Like this one, I love this one. So yeah, it might be nice for me to work out somewhere in the book where I could experiment to work out what's going to work nicely, see if water-based markers bleed through, because that could obviously be an option. Could be good for Space Timber next year. This pirate page. And I think this one, I'd love this one. This could well be one of the first ones I colour in this book. It just looks so sweet, dressed up as a little bee, so cute. But yeah, it could be that I use not necessarily this one to experiment because it would go through to here. I could say have a little try even just on the lettering up there, because if it bled through, it's only going to be going through onto this writing bit, and then I could work out whether water-based markers are going to work okay on this paper, or whether they're going to bleed or goes through, work out what pencils, you know, whether I can get away with Inktense or watercolours. I don't know whether the paper would withstand actual watercolour paints, but they might take watercolour pencils perhaps if I'm careful with how much water. I don't know. Need to have a bit of an experiment, I think. But yeah, I can see this being the first page that I colour in this book when I get to colouring in it. Let's say on my memberships, I'm trying to stick with the cat theme. So once a month there's a members only live stream for kind of the Lunar and Monty Tears, I think, off the top of my head. And I've been trying to colour a page that's got a cat on, whether it's, you know, trying to stick maybe to Cute and Cozy, but I might do other kinds of pages as well, but all ones that have got a cat on. And there's also a members only video each month. And again, I mean, I've been letting people vote from, you know, 3 or 4 pages which one they'd like to see coloured, but again, they've all in some way, shape or form got a cat on, whether it's a little cat or whether it's a big, you know, a big cat that is the focal point of the page. That's kind of the theme I'm going with for my memberships. So that'll fit nicely with the theme of the channel, and then means I'm not stuck with doing just one book or one artist. There can be a bit of variety while still kind of sticking with a theme. So yeah, that was Cats in Clothes, a colouring book for cat lovers. Like I say, there is an actual artist, so that was very reassuring to me. I say I will link it down below. It isn't an affiliate affiliate link in any way, just might help you to get hold of this book if you're interested in it. But yeah, as far as I can see, it's only sold by The Works here in the UK. So thank you very much for joining me, and take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.